What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 4 of Eyes Wide Open Podcast. I'm your host, Kiah. Thank you guys so much for tuning back in with us this week. I have a really special guest with us this week. It is my brother, Cameron.
Hello, everyone.
You can introduce yourself a little.
Sorry.
It's okay.
No, I'm Kiah's older brother, Cameron. I've had the pleasure of knowing this young lady 30 years now, and it's been a very great 30 years of brother-sister relationships, and just happy to see her progress with what she's doing. And thank you for having me on your show.
Thanks. I'm so happy to have you here because you are one of my favorite people in life, of course.
Aww.
Yeah, of course, I know. But today we're going to be talking about self-control, and I really look up to my brother. I respect him a lot because as a person, he has a lot of self-control, maybe in areas that I would like to better mine. And just in general, it's really nice to have a person to look up to and learn from in life. So I appreciate it, and I love that about you.
Thank you. It's very rewarding being an older sibling, as you know.
Of course. But with regards to self-control, I wanted to talk about something that you got into when you were a kid.
Okay.
And that is martial arts or karate.
Yes.
And that played a large part for you in self-control.
Yes.
You're already a controlled being, but I think that, as a child, that definitely instilled some things in you. And I just want to share with the people what that, experience was like for you, especially being a male. You're, for context, 32, will be 32 in July. So it's an interesting perspective about control and self-control and how you gain that.
Yeah, absolutely. Be more than happy to share my experiences and what it taught me growing up and how it's helped me grow as an individual in my latter years as an adult. Definitely. Honestly, I was in gymnastics for a couple of years. I don't know if you remember that or not, but Mom had me doing gymnastics.
Kind of.
And
I was really little.
I just was not into it. I understood like the stretching aspects and everything like that, being limber to perform everything, but I was just not a fan of gymnastics as a whole. So then one of my friends, I forgot who, but one of my friends actually was the one that told me about doing karate, or specifically taekwondo.
Okay.
And I pitched the idea to Mom and Dad, and of course, if you bring something to Mom and Dad's attention with, I want to do this, I'm going to stick it out.
Absolutely.
So I had to prove to them, of course, I had to stick it out. I'm going to actually do it. So I finally convinced them to sign me up. It was a different world. Everyone has the perception a lot of the time that you take any type of martial arts and you're just trying to learn how to fight or just trying to be, better defend yourself. Mm-hmm. And it's so much more to it than that a lot of people don't see. I mean, yeah, you get to hone a skill, you get to hone your reflexes, and you do learn some basic self-defense, and then just your repetition over the years, you get a lot better in the long run. What I took from it more was the discipline side as I progressed. Mm-hmm. And you're not 8, 9 years old, and you're a kid. You don't know anything about the real world yet.
Right.
Everything's pretty, would you say, black and white, I guess?
Yeah.
So here I am, just getting started, and I'm horrible. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was pretty bad.
Aw, you were new.
Exactly. The newness hasn't worn off yet.
Yeah.
So I'm this little 8, 9-year-old kid, less than 90 pounds, and I'm looking at these other kids that are like, oh, this guy's a blue belt. Oh, that guy's a purple belt. Oh, this guy's a black belt. Oh, look at my instructor. Why is my uniform look so new, but his looks tattered and ragged, and his belt is faded, and I didn't understand. Like, I'm confused. Well, it's the flashy part of it wasn't there, which is what a lot of people look for when they think martial arts. They're like, oh God, he knows karate. He's gonna be able to fight. Oh, I don't want no problems with him. That was not why I got into it. Right. I wanted to try something different.
Right.
I've always been an open-minded individual about, different experiences and being open to them, and never, being open to that growth that you receive as a result of trying something different. Mm-hmm. So as time passed, of course, I got better. slowly but surely I got better, and the resiliency was there. I didn't like being labeled a quitter. I refused to quit. You know, it was hard. Like, you get there, it's like, okay, you got to do 50 push-ups.
You're a Cancer. Cancers are resilient. They're cardinal. They don't quit for anything. So
Nope,
you're correct.
And I didn't. I ended up having to do an extra set of 50 push-ups, and that the original 50 almost killed me.
They got you, huh?
It was another student. He started picking with me, and, you know, me at that age, I was pretty hot-headed to a degree. So, you know, when you push my buttons, I push yours back. And we got into it, and our instructor said, you guys got to do a collective 100 push-ups, so it's 50 each, before either of us could leave. And that was after class. I was not a happy camper that day.
That's something that Dad probably thought, like, yeah, let him do that.
Absolutely. As a kid, I didn't understand, you know, a lot of the things that they were having us do. From what they have is, they have different days of the week. We did different activities. So there was 2 days out the week where we were focused on our katas, or which are forms, basically. And each one has a name, and that name has a translation. And you had a creed that you would announce every day you got into class. All the rules and regulations, I guess, of martial arts. And that's the thing a lot of people don't look back at and think, oh my God, why did I waste so much time for this? When do I get to fight? I'm like, I don't like to fight.
Right.
And here's the misconception a lot of people have. They say just because you don't like to fight doesn't mean that you can't.
Yeah.
I just took from the martial arts, I took that it's better to find a way around the conflict versus to indulge just to do someone bodily harm. I'd rather figure out a productive solution to a problem. That way this person can grow from the experience, I can grow, and then we can both move forward. And martial arts helped me do that. It kept me even-tempered. I learned how to speak to people. I learned how to trying to figure out a way to word this.
That's cool. Take your time. You're good.
I figured out ways to just deal with everyday life and the people around me. And that's one of the probably blessings of my time doing martial arts, was just being able to look at things in a different light. And the biggest thing I took away from this was how to deal with your anger.
Yes.
A lot of people get mad and lash out and they react. And I'm the type of person where I don't like the thought of someone being able to influence my mood, which I feel is power over an individual. And like I said, the discipline really came in handy. You know, it keeps you level, it keeps you humble, and it makes you realize, you know, things can definitely be a lot worse than what the current situation is, or whatever your situation may be. It's all about the work you put into it.
That's why I have always respected you, because in a lot of situations where, you know me, like if somebody's messing like with my family wrong, like I don't necessarily like want to fight, but I've never minded like saying something, and I definitely always respected you because you have had so much control over that. And so, you know, it's always trying to find the balance, I guess. And that's why I always say, like, I'm grateful that I have you in my life as my brother to talk to and to learn from and to help me through things like this and just be the example setter in my life, a person that does it naturally. Like, I appreciate that a lot, because self-control in different aspects, like I told you, it can be, you could be controlled in one way and not in another, etc. We all have our difficulties, I guess, regarding control, but it was just learning to have more balance within self, and like you said, not allowing anybody to take you outside of who you want to be or who you are, you know? No,
absolutely. One of the worst things a person can do to you, and you not even know it, is have that type of influence over you, or their mere presence shifts everything around you. Your attitude, your mood, everything. Like, I should not be able to walk into a room and you have so much disdain for my person that all of a sudden you went from just being happy and jovial, now all of a sudden you're just the complete 180,
Wow.
and now it's just you're upset, you're feisty, you know, it's just
Total mood change.
why would you give me that type of power over you? I don't even want that. If you have a problem with me, I'm of the mindset where we're adults. Let's go have a conversation, sit down and hash this out. You know, man to man, woman to woman, or what have you. And I've always looked at everything that way. You know, I'm not going to let a problem fester up days or weeks or months from now, or years even from now, just to one day I'm going to see you and bam, everything, I just explode. I don't want to be that guy, and I don't want that person to come to me in that regard. I'm not a confrontational person, but there's only so much you can say to me, and in the man, depending on the manner you say it, it may be an even bigger problem.
Of course. I think there's like always a fine line between like asserting yourself or standing up for yourself or letting someone know you're not going to tolerate their crap than like being, what's the best word, like reactive, I guess. What was a quote I saw? It was like respond over react. You know what I mean? And like that's the total like shift change. People, it's like we were so used to like reacting, and like even me, I'm used to that. I had to like do a like mindset change and like really like shift the wheel of like, hey, look at it like this. Look at it like respond. Look at it different. Think about it different. And I mean, that's what helped me. But I mean.
So let me ask you a question real quick. How, when you realized what had happened, what had transpired, or the elicited response from you, how did it make you feel once you realized what had transpired?
Like once I realized that I had let myself get frustrated.
Right.
I mean, you never feel good because I'm of the mindset, at least, like anytime you let yourself get to that point, whether you're male, female, whatever, you just don't feel good. You feel like this heaviness on your body, and at least for me, I feel like heaviness, frustration, you feel regret, you feel remorse. You don't feel good if you have reacted to someone wrong. I am in customer service or retail, and so I deal with customers a lot, and so I definitely have to like mindfully, you know, make sure that I'm responding appropriately, you know, even to things sometimes we may deem as like, why would they ask that? But you got to think like, doesn't matter. How do you respond, you know, and keep it pushing, because it shouldn't really even affect you that bad. You just got to keep going, you know?
The problem in retail, as we both know, is that people have a sense of entitlement in certain situations, and they have expectations that they want met, whether they're realistic or not.
True.
There. The issue is you don't always give them the response that they want, and they choose that moment where you're working to lash out, thinking to themselves more than likely that you're not going to do anything to risk your job. I'm not going to risk my job.
Yeah, I'm definitely not.
But I'm going to find a way to show you, hey, you were wrong, and here's why.
Yeah.
Now, once again, I'm not trying to be confrontational. I'm trying to find a solution to where you get an answer that you need to be satisfied, or to, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. You just basically want to try to take care of the customer, basically to the best of your ability.
Of course.
That's your job at the end of the day. They can. I've had some customers that have said several mean things, both to staff, former coworkers, current coworkers, and it's never a good feeling. But at the end of the day, I still have a job to do.
Of course. It's about having the control of self, or within self, to like, I guess for me, and what I have to coach people through sometimes is like, you just have to understand that person's lashing out, and it has nothing to do with like,
Absolutely.
It has nothing to do with you.
You can't take it personal.
Yeah.
And that's overall what a lot of things are in life. Like, not everything is meant to be a personal attack on you. So the elicited response that people give afterward is not necessarily justifiable.
Well, that, and I 100% agree with you on that, but I also had to, it's like understanding, because there would be people who you have to comfort in moments like that, where they may feel hurt because someone has, you know, yelled at them, and you're like, you know, trying to coach like people to like be stronger than that, you know what I mean? But it's not easy, because I have absolutely had a customer make me cry maybe like 6 or 7 years ago. Like, you know, we have our moments.
No, it's you're human. You're going to have your moments. You know?
And it's frustrating, because you feel like I'm losing control at work. I'm crying. No. I had to just take a second, ask myself, like, why are you allowing what that customer thinks or says to, you know what I mean, like, get you to this point? Like, what's the matter? And it really wasn't until like a couple of years ago that I like understood how empathic I was and how like heavy I feel emotions, and I had to start trying to figure out what that balance was between my emotions and other people's emotions.
Yeah, absolutely. Very
much so, because I mean that's helped a lot lately, but with regards of self-control, it's just about creating the balance within you and knowing that, at least what I'm finding as I'm working on my self-control. It seems that the more that I find that internal balance within myself, it's easier for me to have like smoother reactions, smoother responses, smoother like thought processes about things, you know what I mean? To where I'm able to kind of decipher like, okay, this isn't my energy. Like, this person is just clearly frustrated. They're angry. They're mad. And it's like, I don't even let it overpower me. You know, I don't let it impact me anymore. Or if it does impact me, I've found a better way to channel that or to express that. But I don't know. It's, you know, like you always, I mean, for me, I always do like a self-check, and I talk to you about these often. And like self-control for sure, just honing in, because I mean, as I'm a dancer, everyone, if you don't know, you can follow my Instagram page and see my moves. It's at Kiah.
She's amazing.
Thank you. But you learn control in dance, but you also learn like freedom,
fluidity,
100%. Like there is a form of dance that is controlled, like there's ballet, but it's still like when you're a person that they want to create a dance, then you're the controller. You know what I mean? Like
no, for yeah,
the
absolutely.
self-control is of the body, more like literal, like bodily self-control, like movement, not so much like I feel like karate and martial arts, it like offers you like a different like spiritual self-control.
Definitely.
And like I was like, man, I was reading up on it and I'm like,
but you have to be willing to buy into what they're trying to teach you. It's just like how we look at teachers nowadays, and people have the opinion they're definitely underpaid, they're definitely underappreciated. Anyone offering any type of instruction in any facet of life is definitely underappreciated.
Right.
Because they care enough to make sure that you have the opportunities to succeed. And so with my martial arts, when, you know, our parents knew who they wouldn't accept anything less than your best effort.
Right.
So I had to think to myself as 9 years old, what do I look like to my parents if I just start this and I don't see it through?
Right.
So every week I persevered. 3 to 4 days a week I would persevere, and then literally tournaments came. My first tournament was probably the most difficult one because my mindset was not prepared for any of the possible outcomes.
Right.
What if I get first place in everything? What if I get second and third? And what if I don't place? What if I lose in my sparring? Those are the thoughts running through your head your very first tournament.
Right.
You know, amazingly, I got second place in my katas for my first tournament out of like 10 plus, which was cool. But sparring, I was mad because I lost in second.
I remember.
But the problem was, I'm a yellow belt. I'm literally just promoted into my second belt.
Right.
And you're facing me against somebody that's a belt above me, and then the next person after that's 2 belts above me. The fact that I beat someone outranked me was impressive enough, and the fact that I barely lost the second round was just
barely.
I freaked.
Aww.
I cried a little. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was very upset about that. So, but one of the most underrated experiences in martial arts is the meditation aspect. That's something he made us do every single day for at least 10 to 15 minutes.
I just did a segment about meditation. It's my last podcast episode. I didn't even realize that this would run concurrent like that, but let's
No, it's really cool. People just think you're just sitting there like with the typical meditation. They think like a Buddhist monk sitting like that, and that's not how meditation works. You have a particular comfort that you would like to achieve. Most of the time, you're sitting, cross-legged or Indian style, however you prefer to call it, and you just close your eyes and just visualize.
Yeah, and that's why I did the segment about meditation and about like just channeling things and what you're trying to get into. Because that's one way. I mean, I don't know karate or martial arts by any means, but that was one way that I had learned, I'm gonna meditate because that gives me some form of self-control and balance and peace within myself. But and
then it's just figuring out the length of meditation and what you're meditating for.
Yes.
Everyone has a different level that they want to be on. My meditation's not your typical meditation style. I don't always just sit and close my eyes. Sometimes it can be just a brief couple minutes to myself, just in my mind, just away from the world. However you feel is best for you to achieve that meditative state, do it.
That's exactly what I said in my last episode, because it's a lot of people, like you said, they think there's this specific standard way, but I was when I was in dance, we used to meditate in child's pose. We used to I can remember whole classes where our coach would just put on music for the entire 2-hour practice or 1-hour class, and we would just sit in child's pose and meditate. But it really is necessary. It really does bring more balance, to the individual if you just sit and try to focus that energy and focus your mind. And like you said, knowing what you're meditating on, really honing in on it. You know what I mean?
So you ever watched certain movies and they pick these over the top battles and unrealistic things that you can do as a martial artist?
Oh, yeah.
I can do bicycle kicks like Liu Kang. People really think that that's a real thing. You may be able to get 2 to 3 kicks off in that sense, but you're not going to kick someone 10 straight times in the chest. But yeah, that's just
it's not a Mortal Kombat situation going on.
You have to go into this with realistic expectations.
Correct.
Whether you want to learn to better defend yourself just in case. So if you want to achieve a better spiritual standing within yourself, or if you want to just have a better outlook on life, you dance. You've been dancing for 27 years now? Since you were 3, right? Yeah, you've been dancing for forever.
Very long time.
And when you dance, I can see a sense of peace within you. You're home right now.
Oh yeah.
You're in your zone.
That's zen for me, because it is a moment of just vibing and flowing, and it's the fluidity I enjoy.
No, and that's the thing with martial arts. It gets very fluid. You see the katas are essentially shadow boxing, and a lot of people don't understand what's the point of this. Once you've done something so many times, the same as you're dancing, certain things just become a reflex for you.
Right.
And you understand that very well. So imagine having to do the same block, the same punch and kick combination, and just imagine, you're going to block this, right, left, low right kick, left side kick. And you do that so many times, the form's just going to come. Your body's going to get used to doing it. And then when you're put in the situation to defend yourself and you see what the fruits of your labor have there, then you're holy crap. When did I learn to do that?
You had the Doctor Strange moment where you looked at your hands what is this?
I just had a surreal moment. When did I learn how to fight people? When did I learn how to do this? Why did this thought now just start crossing my mind?
Oh, wow.
It's a transformation.
We have to do a class together one day. I mean, I would love to dabble.
No, definitely.
What it's about,
No,
I'm always interested in yogas and interesting ways to bring that balance together. I love that.
It's a great concept, and I think a lot more people should be open to the experience. If you want to learn, I think most people, if not anything else, self-defense is a good thing to know for any person.
You know that movie, Atomic Blonde?
Yes.
She's a bad A chick. Man, every time I saw that commercials or whatever, she was so awesome the way she could move, and I'm I wish I was just, before I die, I'm gonna get that self defense where I'm just moving.
I'm going to give you an example of dedication to your craft.
Yes.
And just the testimonial of what I've witnessed people do. I watched guys punch through cinder blocks.
Yes.
You've seen me kick through boards and little stuff like that.
I've seen a lot of those.
When I watched my teammate punch through a cinder block, but it's the way he did it though. So most of the time, martial arts, they teach you, hands by your hips, that's your ready stance, and then straight forward with your shots, so that way you're no wasted motion.
Right.
This guy was literally about an inch away from the cinder block. And generated enough power from that distance to break that cinder block.
Wow.
So, man, he was literally focused. Like, he closed his eyes, and it took him like a good minute and a half maybe, before he actually threw the punch.
Damn.
But it's impressive though. Like,
yes.
That type of determination, that mindset, that resiliency to not be afraid. What could happen if I punch this thing? I'm going to punch this thing.
Right.
And that's all that's in your mind. Mm-hmm. Your meditation, the meditative state is what that's about. He literally was focused his energy on, I'm going to break the block. And I even asked him, I'm like, dude, how did you do that? And he just looked at me and said, dude, I just closed my eyes and I was just like, I'm going to break the cinder block. And I kept telling myself that for a good almost 2 minutes. And sure enough, bam, a couple nicks and scratches afterwards. But the fact that he just, bam,
could do that
from that distance.
Crazy.
I watched a guy I know, the flip kick that certain video game characters do. It looks like they're trying to do a backflip. They're actually kicking in the process. I know someone that can do that.
Amazing.
Just, again, the dedication. And somebody I think about, you remember my friend Brandon?
Mm-hmm.
That man is a monster among men, a beast among men. I could call him a guru. Definitely. He's very wise. But just the things he's been through physically.
Oh, yeah.
That most people think, oh my God, you've been through all these different injuries.
And he's a martial artist too. Like, with regards to that, he's gone through a lot, or put his body on the line a lot.
Oh, absolutely. I've sparred with him.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't wish that pain on nobody. He caught me with a roundhouse one session. I was like, oh my goodness, no, I'm done.
You said that's not for you?
And then the problem was, I can tell he was pulling back on certain moves. Because when you throw full force and it's that focused,
right,
you don't know the type of damage you can do because you've never hit anybody like that before. So
fair enough. That's
the other piece that goes into the martial arts is I know how to hurt people. I know ways that I can really hurt someone. How do I avoid doing that? I don't want to. I don't want to be responsible for that because now they have these things called lawsuits. Where if I hit you, I'm going to get sued.
Because your hands are considered like lethal weapons?
Not unless you're professional.
Oh, if you're a boxer or professional martial artist.
Boxers, actual kickboxers, MMA fighters, they are not allowed to just hit people.
Right.
And
which is also another form of self-control.
For good reason. Like, you catch the wrong person, they throw a Chun-Li couple kicks at your way, it's over.
You're done.
And now Chun-Li sitting there with paying with lawyer bills.
Chun-Li, I just
plus
think of a Nicki song.
Medical bills that she got to pay off. Like, it's not worth the headache. It's not worth the hassle. If this person tries to accost me, I know how to properly either deter you from trying further or to subdue you entirely.
Right. And
I'd rather not do the latter option.
Right. But knowing that you have the ability to do that without, I'm sure the further you get, you probably know pressure points to actually kill a person, but it's like equally you would know what to do to not kill them too.
Knowing the pressure point is different than knowing how to hit the pressure point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've studied biology. I understand where your major pressure points are in your body. I also understand what places and what angles you have to get hit to either be knocked out or incapacitated. It's a science. Like, literally, like, think about it. You see boxers in the ring and it looks like they're just dancing around, moving their fists, and you're just seeing them just filling each other out, throwing jabs. Like, that's what the jab is for. I'm testing you. I'm testing you. What are you about to throw at me? How are you about to come at me? And you just learn to read. Same thing with your dancing and choreography. You eventually see, if you're watching certain people that are, let's just say, stragglers, and they are getting stuck on certain routines, you've done that routine enough to know exactly where the problem is.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Just from watching it once through.
Oh, yeah.
Then you're going to start dissecting each individual person where their trouble areas are, and better that.
Yep.
In martial arts, or at least when you're fighting, you're doing the same thing. You're learning styles, patterns, and then you learn how to counter based off what you know how to do. So that's why mixed martial arts is such a huge sport, because it's more than just one particular style. So you know the Michael Jai White, the actor,
right?
He's a black belt, I believe, in 7 different martial arts.
Man.
And so you see him in his movies and the things that he's doing, and they're like, "That's a stunt." And I'm like, "Nope, that's him."
I didn't know it was that many.
Yeah, 7. He's 7 black belts.
Interesting. I love.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
but you see the demeanor he carries about himself.
Yes.
Versus when he's acting, it's acting.
Of
But then
course.
you see the real person, very down to earth, very humble,
Absolutely.
easy to talk to. Seems like a really cool guy, but don't nobody want a problem with him. But he has that peace about himself, that security, and that's the thing that's the thing I loved about martial arts for me, because it gave me a sense of peace that I didn't have, and it molded me going through my teenage years when I finished my training, and then now I still practice. You know? I don't do it because I want to fight people. I do it because it makes me whole. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel peaceful.
Oh, good. That's kind of why I wanted to bring the topic on, because it's just other alternatives for people who are if meditation specifically isn't your thing and you're looking for some extra oomph on top of that, maybe karate or taekwondo or a martial art form could be something that you would want to pick up in your spare time.
Even if that's not your cup of tea, you could look at other avenues. Yoga is a really good instruction to go under, to learn how to properly. Yoga
is wonderful.
Yeah.
Yoga is lovely.
Everyone has their different processes. You just have to find the thing that works for you. You know, I like to give my testimonial and tell people some of the things that I've done, just to give you a different outlook on things. What works for me may not always work for another person, but just to be able to shed that knowledge and experience for someone is definitely an underrated thing nowadays.
Remember me telling you how? Well, first let me say, I never really did contact sports when I was a kid. I'm more of a creative sportist.
I did do contact sports. That's when I learned I'd prefer to be on offense.
And I'm not, I didn't do softball or basketball. I'd play around, but I never actually engaged in the teamwork aspect of that. But where I did pick up teamwork was things like dance. That was kind of where I learned my elements of working together to create a big picture or something working together, all working parts in motion type of situation. But I think that the thing that I like about Taekwondo is, earlier I said that with dance it was more fluid, so it's not always so controlled, but it's contact. So for me, it's fun because I'm getting to do things and work with other people and all those types of things. But it's a creative. It's my brain just goes everywhere whenever I'm dancing. But with Taekwondo and martial arts, why I want to try it is because it's a spiritual, for me, I feel it would be a spiritual connection and controlled, but there's also contact at some point. There is a way for you to spar, there's a way for you to get to that. And it's all about establishing control within self, and then you're able to practice against other people. But I just feel having the balance of both is going to be really unique experience from dancing for sure. Because dancing is... honestly,
they're pretty parallel in the long run. Again, once you're taking an instruction from someone, you went to Miss Betty's with the mindset, I want to dance. I want to be good at it. I love to dance. This is something I like to do.
Actually, let's say this. I went to dance. I don't know what my mindset was. I was 3.
I know what your mindset was. Mom, look at me in my tutu.
Wee. I wanted to be cute. That was all.
But here's the thing. You kept going.
Of course.
You kept going. And just like contact sports, like martial arts, it has its pros and cons. When I played football, middle school, a couple years, I learned I didn't like hitting people even more.
That's good.
I didn't want to.
That's good.
So for me, it was I'm going to be on offense.
Right.
And they tried it for middle school, of course. They wanted me to be tight end.
Yeah.
Because all these kids were the same size. So I'm okay, cool. I didn't realize I was going to get hit as much as I got hit.
You were this is not working for me.
Well, when you look at the NFL now, look at the tight ends that take these hits. Look at your George Kittles, your Travis Kelce's, and if you want to go even further back, Shannon Sharps or Tony Gonzalez. These guys are pretty solid boys, but they're out there getting the wood laid on them, and it's it's pretty bad.
Not interested.
But most people, as a kid especially, you get hit, your first reaction is to get up and hit somebody back, to do something about it. And
that's that reactive versus responding that I was talking about. And why, like, that martial, like, that control comes into play so much. And why martial arts at a young age for you, it just...
I learned to be very observant at an early age.
Yeah, you did.
So I constantly observe my surroundings, and when I feel something's out of place, I go with that feeling.
Yes.
A lot of the time, you know how you women have your intuition. I don't know what you call a men's, if it exists to some people, but...
Mentuition?
A lot of the time, it never let me down.
You have a mentuition?
I have whatever you
Everybody
want to call
has
it.
intuition.
I don't have intuition.
Okay.
I'm going to call it a sixth sense.
Okay. If you say so.
No, it's almost like a reflex now. Like, if something just feels out of the ordinary, I just go with it until it subsides. And usually by that point in time, it was either nothing major to worry about, or it's, okay, I really got to watch for this now.
Smart. Makes sense to me.
No, definitely.
Well, I guess we're going to wrap up chit-chatting about self-control. I always appreciate you for being here and being a support system to me. When I first came to you and wanted to talk about what to do, he was super supportive. He actually helped me come up with the name of my podcast. So thank you so much.
I want to be.
You are. I told you that earlier. You're creative. So I appreciate you so much, though, and I really appreciate you coming on and talking about, you know, karate and multiple facets of martial arts, because I don't know very much about it, but I would love to maybe do a class with you one day. That would be very fun.
I'm all for it. And
when the Rona leaves us alone.
Oh, I know, right? Everybody on house arrest. I can't even go out and train.
So the government has us grounded.
Yeah, I know, right?
But thank you guys again so much for listening and tuning in with us. You can follow us at eyeswideopenpod on Instagram and Facebook. And again, we're available on Apple and Spotify and Anchor.
You know you like this young lady. You know you want to subscribe. Come on.
Thank you. Yeah, totally go to the YouTube channel as well. If you want to watch it on YouTube, you can subscribe. I have other videos. My first 3 episodes are on YouTube as well as all other platforms. So we'll see you guys next week. Well, I will see you guys next week. Cameron might not be here.
I'll be back at some point in time.
You will.
I'm awesome like that.
But I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you guys next time. Have a wonderful day. Bye.